Okay, so I promised some of you guys that I would record the answer to this problem and post it on Schoology. Hopefully it got to you in time. So let me just read it first. It says, as a New Year's resolution, Mrs. Pierce wants to lose weight. True story. Her husband wants to gain weight. Not quite so true. Right now, Mrs. Pierce weighs 160 pounds and wants to lose 2 pounds per week. Her husband weighs 124 pounds and wants to gain 1 pound every week. So for part A, it says write two equations labeling which equations are which. So I'm going to go back first and look at what the problem said again. So for Mrs. Pierce, it says that she weighs 160 pounds and wants to lose 2 pounds per week. So here's the important stuff about Mrs. Pierce. Now she already weighs 160 pounds, so that's B. That's like my figure 0. That's where we start. That's where we begin. So if I'm going to start writing Mrs. Pierce's equation, every equation here now is going to start with y equals. If there's no equal sign, it's not an equation, so don't forget that part, please. And then it says she starts at 160 pounds and she wants to lose 2 pounds per week. So there's one way to write that equation. Notice she's losing weight, and so that would be subtracting the 2 pounds per week. Whenever it says per week or per whatever, that's the thing that happens over and over again. So that's our rate of change. That's our growth rate. In this case, hopefully it's the lose weight, the lose rate. So another way to write it, though, I could have started with the growth rate and said that she's losing 2 pounds every week and she's got 160 pounds to start with. So either of those equations would be fine. Again, you've got to have that as an equation. You can't just have 160 minus 2x. So when you take your quiz this week or whenever you might take it, make sure you've got an equation. All right, now let's move on to Mr. Pierce. So Mr. Pierce right now weighs 124 pounds. He wishes. And actually that would be really skinny. And he wants to gain 1 pound every week. So here's Mr. Pierce's information. So if we kind of do something similar to Mrs. Pierce, I'm going to start with y equals. And he's got 124 pounds to start, and he's going to gain 1 pound every week. Now you don't really have to have the 1, but I just put it there. And on top I'm going to say, okay, we could do it a different way. If you want to start with the x, or the growth rate, I'm going to say y equals 1x plus 124 is where he is beginning. Okay, so letter B now says, what do the variables stand for? Be careful, they're not saying what's the answer, they're saying what do the variables stand for. So this word problem, now that we have word problems, it actually has meaning. So I need to go back and say, well, the x's, that's going to stand for the number of weeks. Pretty much whenever there's a time involved in a word problem, that's going to be x. Okay, so x is the number of weeks, and then the y value, after I do the 160 minus 2 times the number of weeks, that's going to give me my weight in pounds. So when your teachers say, what do the variables stand for, they might say, define your variable. It's another way of saying that. It doesn't mean what does a variable mean, it means what does this particular one stand for. So that's all they want for that one. Alright, letter C, I'm probably going to have to do this on a clear page here, but it says make a table with at least 3 points in each. Now I said think of the 5D process, so if you know what that is, and you were only going to do 5 points, you could kind of guess and check or use a 5D process to try to get close to where those 2 weights would match. Alright, so I'm going to get a new page here in a second and start making my 2 tables.